Okay. Good morning, guys. For the recording, uh, we are into session 12 of GenAI learning. So I guess we are at a comfortable state, at least now that we understand the lay of the land, the platform, the tools of AI, GenAI, and the architecture and patterns that we have been working with, the RAG architecture, the LLMs, the RAG architecture, the agentic AI, right? So we are working with various uh, platforms or the various vendors that provide the agentic AI platforms. So we worked with um, Agno, we worked with LangChain, we worked with Crew AI. So all of these are code based that we did agents. Now we want to get into the no code. So we did RAG architecture with no code, right? Langflow. So we just want to see one no code platform, the Langflow. How do you build the agentic AI with the Langflow? Okay. Now, um, so once you do that, we have several of like we talked about N8N, Zapier, Make.com, there's Agent Kit from OpenAI. So all of these platforms are like follow the same pattern of visually building the components, building the AI applications, right? Agentic AI applications or RAG applications or whatever. So we'll explore the Langflow. How do you build the agentic AI applications using Langflow? Okay. Now, let me share my screen and you can see. Okay. So we looked at, say, let's say we've taken this Agno framework, right? So this one here, and so this application we have, the agentic AI, is to do some not this one, is to do some Yahoo Finance tool and web search tool using that to give a analyst recommendations for any of the stock that you are looking for. So we have done this, we have run this. So we have all of the analysis, the agent. We built an agent team with both the agents, web agents, finance agent, and then run this with using the tools that we have, the DuckDuck tool and the Yahoo Finance tool with each agent. Okay, so we'll see how we can recreate this, use the same use case, and then build this agentic AI application in the Langflow. Okay, so we have seen last time through IBM this Langflow here. So if you go to new flow, so let's say I'll just go with just go here. I will come back and use the template later. But we have seen this. Just want to review. So we have all these components on the left, right? So drag and drop. We have chat input, chat output, text input, and text output. So chat input, chat output is what we use for our application, where the message that you send goes in the chat input and the response comes out as chat output. Now we have agents here. So agent is just, let's say, an agent. Okay. Now, once you have the agent here, you will have, basically we talked about three components of the agent, right? So one, you have the LLM here. So where you can choose your model provider. You want Anthropic, Google, OpenAI, or you can connect other models, right? So then you have to you can select any of these bundles and get in here and use any of those models in this. Now, once you select the provider, not model. So once you select the provider, then you get all the models available from that provider as a drop-down value. So this is all OpenAI. So all GPT and O1, all of these models that you can use with OpenAI to kind of that you can use in the Agentic AI application. So which model you want to use. And then we have our API key, which can be used with any of these models, right? So OpenAI key, if you have, so you can use with any of these models. And then you put your OpenAI API key here, and then you can give your instructions to the agent. Then comes your tools. So what are the tools that you can use to help with the tasks? So once you create a tool, you can connect. So basically what you're doing once you create an agent here, so let's say this is the agent, you put a name, role, and then you have a model here, GPT-4o, and then there are tools that you want to give. Instructions, yes, you can give the instructions that we have seen, agent instructions. And then the tools. Tools is DuckDuckGo tool that you want to. So here you have created the DuckDuckGo tool and then provided that tool here. Now that can be, how can that be done here? Okay, so that's the tools part that we will do. And then the input. Input is your, basically when you run the agent, you have to connect how you're taking the input into this. Okay. Now, so let's come back here. So this is the models. Let's go to bundles, right? Close this. Okay. Now, so language model, you also have embedding model. Remember, uh, if you want to build RAG, we use the embedding models to embed the data, incoming data, and then store in the vector database, and then also embed the query, incoming query, compare it and get the results and all of that. So this we used in the RAG. So this the LLM model that we need to process the data and provide an output. Now we have data here where last time we used file input. So you can use directory, you can use API request, SQL database, URL, web search, webhook. All of this you can use as input to the uh, chat input instead of chat input, right? So you can use any of this as an input to your agent or your RAG application. So this also we have looked at earlier. Processing, basically, so if you want to have a prompt template, parsing your data, split the text. If you want to have a structured output as a JSON format normally, so you can use structured output to parse the data before you send out. You can parse it and put it in a structured JSON format or any other structured format and send it out. So there are and Python interpreters. If you want to run any Python code, you can write your own code as a tool or your own Python parser to run any Python scripts and all of that. Okay, so that is your processing. Okay, logic and helpers. So basically, it's your yeah. 1 second. I've changed this again. Okay. Okay. So these are the tools. There are in the bundles they have moved. They have removed from the tools section. I don't know why. So this is now here in the bundles. You can use the Yahoo Finance tool, or you can use the DuckDuckGo search tool here to build the same workflow. So when I come here, so what do I have? There's something called the tool mode. Okay. So once you switch on the tool mode, it becomes a tool set. Now you can connect this tool set to the tools. So now basically for the agent, you have given Yahoo Finance as a tool set, as a tool basically. Okay. For this agent, you have created this tool. Now, if you get, so data method is, they have, you can use any of these data methods, get news, get analysis, get balance sheet, cash flow, all of these actions that you can use with the, with the query that you are providing. And number of news, if you want news, how many news you want to fetch is the tool set. Okay. Now, if I have more than one, if I have Yahoo Finance and then I also want to have a DuckDuckGo search, where is the DuckDuckGo search? Let's check. Yeah, here, create this. Okay. Now I put here. Okay. Now this is another tool. So I'll go switch on the tool mode. So this tool set, go and connect to the same agent. Now the same agent has two different tools. Okay. Now one agent, you have two different tools. And which tool it wants to use is, it can be decided by the agent itself. Okay. Now actions don't have any other actions. It's just a search the web using DuckDuckGo with customizable result limits. So you can do some kind of variables, you can set for each of these kind of thing. But so this is the agent. These are the tool set, right? Now I want to add my API key. Where is my OpenAI API key? I should already have it. I don't know what happened to that. They have cleaned up everything, I guess. Okay. They created a new one, so they cleaned up. OpenAI API key. Let me go back, add this from here. OpenAI API key and the actual value. I will copy this value from here. And the value here. Save the variable and select the API key. Okay. So that's done. Now, what have we done from here? We have created the, so we don't have two agents. We just have one agent now, but we are using both the tools with the agent. Okay, instead of team, one agent, we have used two tools. So well, let's put these instructions as well. Agent instructions. So we have tools, we have something. Now we want to give input, right? So we have to give input. So let's go back and put our chat input here. Connect to the input. Okay. So this is the input. and then we will say, let's go chat output and connect the response to the chat output. Okay, are we good? Any questions?
That's good so far, Hanu.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go check this out and just want, so let's go use the same thing with single agent, query, and send. Why it is not able to? Um, um, let's say we want to get analysis and check from it. I don't know why it is not able to retrieve. Still trying. Okay, let's say keep something with us. Just use this and see. It's not responding.
The tool is not bringing the data, right, Syed?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't show that it's using the tool fetch content data frame. It's sending this question. Um, what happened to this? Let me remove this. Just use the agent and field. Yeah. So it is using the LLM, but it's not able to use the tools. We don't know why it's not able to use the tools. Has something changed? There was some keys or something. Mhm. It does not have, it doesn't ask for any keys. It's open.
The toolset link is removed right now.
Yeah, I have removed it. That's why it's not using the tool. It's just, I'm just checking what is wrong with, troubleshooting which part is not working. So the LLM part, agent part is working, but when it uses the tools, the tool is not responding, or the tool is not giving what the response it has to provide. Okay, so is it something they have changed with the tools? They need the keys, or it doesn't ask for any key, just like this is asking for OpenAI API key. Um, so if I have search API, let's see. Try this one. And the tool. We have search API key here. Yeah, it's not able to access any tools. We need to check why. Even if you provide the keys, I think they have changed something. Okay, let me verify that. But at least, so this is with the way that you go on build your applications. Okay, agent, you connect the tools, and then you give the instructions in there, input and output you connect, and then you can do parsing and all of that using this flow. This is suitable for quick applications, quick and small applications that you want to run. But if you have more complicated processing logic and all, the other frameworks like CrewAI, even they also have UI component, but you can still use existing pattern framework. You can plug in your agents anywhere in your current application. Launch, just put it on a endpoint and then try working with that. Okay, I will revisit this. We'll come back and see why they have removed, what changed with the tool usage. But if you want to also look at this, uh, so when you come here, you can also use the workflow, simple workflow here that it's already there. you have a calculator tool added, and then you have URL tool. You can remove and add any of your tools. Fetch content from one or more web pages following links recursively. So these are the two tools. And then I don't know if this still works, uses the calculator. Just leaving this. Uh, just the expression output result, but we are not sure. Just, oh, I think we should. There's something here. Not, it's disabled actually, the tools. That is why we are not able to, it's not able to use the tools. This is something new that has come up. Why is this?
Even input also disabled right there, Arun. It seems,
Yeah,
but mm, are there any way to identify whether the request is going to tools or not, Arun, here?
yeah, it is not. If it is going, it will show the tool call, what tool it is using. Okay.
Oh.
But right now, this you have to do with tool more. Let's see. Does it on? It handles. Does not show anything here. So something has changed. I don't know. After they have released a new thing. So they have disabled the tool usage here. We'll check and we'll figure out. No, the tool, yeah, it has not shown because this is not connected here. They not put in the tool more, only if it is. And now you can connect the input and output. So this is a different thing. But somehow I don't know why they have disabled the tool mode. The agent can use to help with tasks, but this is disabled. Okay. So, but you understand this, right? So you can, it's just that it's not able to handle the tools. Disable this, we'll figure this out and then we'll check. But once this is enabled, it will run as our logic, what we have built here, the agentic AI. It's the same thing that we would go ahead and then add it, create that. Okay. So we'll park this here. We'll come back when we figure out the tools part. Okay. Let me go back and check what changed. with this new release, and then we'll figure out what we need to do to enable that. Maybe we have to take subscription or something, not trial version or so. We'll figure out. Okay. Now, so we talked about this. There is few topics that I wanted to touch upon. So tomorrow we'll talk about the LLM ops, the tracing, monitoring, the using LangSmith and LangWatch tomorrow. So there are two other topics that I wanted to talk about today. One is the once you build this kind of application, right? So forget this. So you have built this. Now, how do you deploy this? How do I call it from an internal application or an external application? How do you expose this as an API kind of a thing? How do you deploy this, right? So we have this project, basically. There is the agent project. Okay. The same, we have two agents here. We'll use the same, these two agents, the team agent that we want to, and we create a project. So let's say our IDE, we have a visual source. Okay. Let me. Where's the So I have this folder where I have this created the project and I opened the visual source environment. Okay. So I think you are all familiar with this, or some of you must be familiar with this environment here. Okay. So how do you build a new project? So once you create a folder, a new project, then you create a virtual environment, right? Like say a Python environment. So .venv. This will create your own Python environment, whatever you want to create with the libraries, and then use the requirements. So these are all the requirements. Remember, so it's basically what we are doing here to import, right? Install PyData, OpenAI, DuckDuckGo Search, Yahoo Finance, all of these. So you put here DuckDuckGo Search, OpenAI, Yahoo Finance, and then we use Fast API and Unicorn, Agno thing, LangChain, all of these libraries. So Fast API and Unicorn we use to deploy our application, okay, as a Fast API app. So how do you structure this? I created an agents folder and I've created an agent tools folder. So this is one way of structuring. You can have anything of your own structure, but this is how we follow. So each module you create, within that module, you create the agents and the tools that you are using for that module. If it is a multi-agentic application. If it is a CrewAI kind of application, you have like for every module you do your own under the you have tasks also, tasks, tools, and agents within each module that you create. You associate the task with the agent and you build the tools agent. You associate both the task and tools when you build the agent. And then in the final app, you create a crew and connect all of these agents within that crew. Now here, if I go to agents, right? So I have a finance agent. Basically, this is our Yahoo Finance agent that we created. And then we have a web agent. Okay. So what I did in web agent, I created this and I created a web agent using the same code. So if you want to go back here and see where is my web agent. So this is my part, web agent part. So I have created a web agent here. So you can create as many agents, each one as a separate agent. So let's say I have a finance agent. I created this finance agent as a separate, as a finance agent here. Then let's say you want to connect to DB agent, you can create a DB agent. You can give all your code, create an agent here to connect to the database, just the agent part. Now you come to the tools, and this is where you define your actual logic. So you can create a DuckDuckGo tools here, Yahoo Finance tools here. So all of this, okay. And then you can have you can have multiple tools as well. Create multiple tools, each tool separately, or define your own tool here. Write your own Python based tool here, and then connect to this. And then you go to environment. Here where you want to give any keys, you can give your keys here. Let's say you want to do OpenAI API key that we want to use. You can give a environment variable like this. So when you deploy, you don't deploy or you don't push this to your environment, but it will be configured within your environment. Let's say you're deploying to a Azure function or Azure web app service. There will be environment variables there. You go and define the environment variables and read it from that environment. You don't push this to the repository because you don't want to expose any of the keys or any environment values. But this is for the local. When you create, it uses here. But when you push the repo, you don't push this environment files to the repository. Now, this is where you bring all together as application that you are building. .env, load.env will get you all your environment variables. So whatever we have in .env, so this is the key. Now, once I run this, so the keys are loaded and available. Now I create an app called Fast API. So I'm using Fast API here. Title, version, description, simple. It's just you want to give Fast API. Then I'm creating the agent team here. So agent team, I connected. So both web agent, finance agent, I have imported from agents.finance agent import file. So this is the finance agent. And this is the web agent that I have imported here. And then, so I created this agent team. Okay. Now here I create all of my endpoints. So you just have to say @app.get. So this is my endpoint / get financial advice. And then when I invoke this endpoint, what is the code that I want to run? So the write async def. This is the method get financial advice, and it takes the topic as a string as a input topic, and then it runs this agent team function. So this is the agent team object dot run, and then pass this topic. So once you get the return response, you just return the response as the content in this. So this is you can write as many endpoints here as you want, and then you write import UVCon and then run this application. So once you run this application, it will be available on this host and port. Okay, so let me run this application from here. Once I run this app, localhost port 8000, it should start running the application here. Yeah. So application is running on localhost 800. So I'll just go here. Close this. Go check http:// localhost 8000. So the server is running here, but we don't see the. Let's go to /docs. So we have seen the fast API server. Okay. Now let's see. This is our get financial advice endpoint, and the topic is what it is needed. So if you just use fast API, you can quickly check on your local when you deploy. And then this is the endpoint you deploy to. So any host you deploy to, it will take that host and this suffix endpoint URL, base URL and this suffix URL. So you go try it out and then say, tell me analyst recommendations, share list about the meeting. Okay. So I run this from here. So it should get the request here. Default model to OpenAI chat has been renamed to DDGS. It's just a warning. So this is running. Okay, so you got the output, the response. Okay, so this is to get the application deployed. So basically, even in production company environments, what you do, you write all of this, and then you deploy this application as a fast API to any of your cloud environments. So you use that, DevOps to get this host port wherever that is deployed, and so the same thing, and you get this endpoint towards the end. So what endpoint that you're trying to invoke to get the response. Okay, so this can be kind of integrated, like in our environment, we have integrated with the Teams. So Teams webhook that you can do. So the request you can call from the Teams webhook, create, and then call this endpoint from the Teams webhook, and then response goes back to the Teams. So that's one integration. You can create a web application, just UI application, and from there you can integrate and call this as a chatbot or any of the workflow. You can integrate this in your application. Okay, now to go here, what's this? Now, if I want to add more functions here, you can, all you need endpoints is, let's say, yeah, go ahead. You have a question. Somebody had a question? Run this again. Go back. Just let it refresh. See, now you have another function here, get weather updates. So basically it's the same implementation. You can write any implementation you want to get from the weather updates. Topic, you can say get the today Dallas. So it's as easy as just adding a function there, and then calling your agents, whatever relevant crew or relevant agents you want to, with different implementation. It's in weather.com. For the latest news. Too, right? Maybe the DuckDuckGo search is not working. Let's see. So yeah, this is how you can write and deploy your functions, your endpoints basically. Just like you're doing for most of you have written, if you have done APIs or microservices, you do with the Swagger, right? The same thing. You can use Fast API. There's something called also Langserve. It was there. Now they have retired it. LangChain works similarly, basically same kind of thing with the just like the Fast API server. Okay. So if you want to look at any other project, I will zip this. Yeah, have a zip one, and then I can set this to you. Look at it. Let's see. We have several other projects.
Sayed, one question.
Yeah.
Do we need to copy these files into virtual machine directly, or you want to convert? You will convert to wheel package and then you copy them into the virtual machine and then you start executing. How it works?
It's up to you how you want to choose. So you build, it's all into the DevOps, right? So you check in this code into a repository, right? So that is deployed as a zip file into Azure Functions. It can build the entire thing as a zip file and deploy into Azure Function. When you invoke the Azure function, it invokes your whatever endpoint that you are running. So it runs on the server, the app.py, and that will be running and exposed your the endpoints. So that's one of the implementation. So it's up to you. Basically, end of the day, it is all like your web app. You can also deploy it in a container as a web service in the using a Docker container, and then you can deploy it on the as a web service using the Docker container or on the Kubernetes. So it's standard DevOps practice, right? It's a DevOps or it's a LLM ops. it's the same thing. The application will be the same how it runs, but only that it is now having the agentic AI application that runs instead of your standard microservices or any other stuff that you're running. You can deploy as a wheel file. Yes, that is done. You can deploy as a wheel file, your egg file, or just zip your entire thing and then deploy it on Azure function that will run the app.py. The main function, right? Wherever you have written the main function, that it will run the service there.
Yeah, thanks. Amy.
Yeah, because you use the UBCon. So in our project, in our environment, we are like set up the same CI/CD pipeline, same repos, same functions, and then we deploy it onto a Azure function, which is like from the repo release pipeline. It deploys to a Azure function on the Azure that we have, Azure DevOps, and then it is integrated with the Teams webhook. So you invoke it from the Teams with a webhook that goes and invokes that function that is running on the Azure. So that's the architecture that we have used. I will share that. I mean, there is nothing confidential in there. It's pretty open architecture. One of the architectures, we'll talk about it next week. What are the different architectures that you can use to deploy any of these functions? Okay. This is one of the important topics, right? So basically, if you want to in any interviews, right? So they'll ask, how do you scale? How do you deploy? Have you deployed any of the projects? So you can confidently say, yes, we have deployed. This is the architecture. We build all of these agentic AI in one of these IDEs. And then we have the CI/CD pipeline, our repos there. So we build Azure DevOps release pipelines. We push it to either Azure function or Azure web service. And then if it is a web service, you have a web app that you can call. You can deploy as a web app, or you can integrate it with any of the Teams webhook kind of a thing to invoke that function. So one of the architectures you can talk about. Another architecture you can explore. Basically, it's easy to learn. So what are the different architectures? You put it in a Docker container, everything, and then deploy that container as a web service, web app, or onto the Kubernetes. So these are different options that you can talk about, and then you can say we have taken this route as a deployment for project. I'm sure you guys have done multiple application deployments, right? So it's not very different. The only endpoint, once you get into the endpoint, what it does is the actual different thing. So if you go here, so if I go here and say create environment, so I use Python, create virtual environment in the workspace to install workspace dependencies. So see it as virtual environment is created here. All the libraries or installation that we have put in here in the requirements.txt. All of this is deployed. Okay. Once virtual environment is done, you can just, all of these errors go away because now you have all the libraries that you can check. And then I have all of these functions here written, endpoints basically to run this. Okay. I can go close this app down, go here, and then say run. So when I run this app, it first Prompts. What happened to prompt? They remove this every time they do something. Let's check what we have done. That's apps. It's in the land chain core. Even that, I think, we had some issue with that. Okay. Anyways, that's just the code issue. You can check that. But so this is the way that you build your applications. Like, this project, we have put everything in the app.py. So this is not the standard thing. You can just put the API routes here, and we take it as modular. So you just go back, create your agents, create your tools, create your YAML files, environment. There you can have a config file that you can read. If you want to set up any of the values, or you can just put in the .env itself, any JSON files that you want to read, you can put, and then all of each module you can have separately as an agent and as a tools within that agent and the tasks if you're using the GUI framework. But this is how you can go and deploy the applications. Okay. What else we want to talk about? There's another one I want to touch about another topic called guardrails, but I think we will take that tomorrow with the monitoring tools tomorrow. So basically, we have 3 more sessions. Tomorrow we'll do the Langsmith and Langwatch tools. We'll explore and work with the tracing and monitoring evaluation of LLMs, how we do, and touch upon guardrails. And next week, the 2 sessions will explore the more advanced topics like MCP protocol, talk about A2A protocol, and talk about architectures, it's more like discussion, use cases, projects that we want to bring up, and any other topics, or maybe we'll do some coding with Anthropic, web coding with Anthropic, and try to build an application one of the sessions. So we'll figure out next week, we'll see what all the things that we can touch upon to wrap up. Okay. We'll wrap up early today. So we'll go through these, fix some of the issues, and then the last session we'll review, or I'll post this code. Let me know if you're not able to access any of the code things. You can take and we can work on it. So basically, yeah, the next 3 sessions that we'll do tomorrow, at least, yeah, we have the observability. We'll cover observability. Next week, we'll cover all the advanced topics and wrap up the parts. However, as I said, we'll be launching the next batch after that. And whenever I have some new topics to cover, more advanced or new topics like Agentic or the MCP and A2A, actual the code base or the use cases, I will invite you guys to those sessions in the next batch as well. you're welcome to attend those sessions. Any new topics that we want to cover or any new projects that we are working in. So having said that, you can bring your use cases, and then we can collaborate and see how we can build those use cases, develop as build as projects, and create a repository, GitHub, and then post as a group into that repository, just for fun, just for hands-on, build projects and put it in the GitHub. You know, as collaborators. So there is a repository I will share, or we can create new one. That's not a point, but we want to build use cases there. That will give us confidence, and that will give us the hands-on. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll check why the tools are not responding. I'll figure that out. Maybe some troubleshooting, and then I'll either discuss or I'll post offline. Just you can go ahead and execute them. Any
Thanks,
other
Arun.
questions? Any questions before we wrap up? Questions?
Yep. I do have one question here, Arun. Like when we create these agents, right? Let's say there is a finance agent or a sales agent and a CRM agent. Do we also kind of like fine tune that agent so that they know exactly what they need to do? I saw that instruction, right? Is instruction
Yes.
place where we tell all these things that, hey, you are a finance agent, you have this
Yes.
role. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So if you if you look at what we have done in the if we go deeper into any of these sessions that we have done, collab notebooks, right? We have done a very detailed instructions, both in the so we have given a lot of stuff in the say agent right here. We give the role, we give the goal, we also give the context, the backstory for the agent. So all of this is what defines what the agent can do or what the agent should focus on. So pretty elaborate. So most of it, yeah, as I said, like it looks repetitive, but the more elaborate description you give, the more the better it works, basically. And you also repeat the same in the tasks.
Got
Task
it.
will have a description as well, but what it has is an output. What is the output that we are expecting from that agent for this task? And this is where you give all your inputs and input and output variables that you take. So task we assign to agent, and agent also has a role to play, role, goal, and backstory, the context that you're providing here. So yes, yeah, we give the agent a lot of instructions as to what is the scope and what is the role and goal of that agent to work with. Okay.
Yep, that helps. Thanks, Arun.
Yeah. So, see, basically interviews, right? Most of the interviews that we have attended, I have done this year. There are two things that to focus on the questions. The first one is, are you able to write code? Okay. So you should be able to do that RAG, at least, even if you don't use vector databases, at least use the RAG with the inbuilt FileDB or ChromaDB, build end-to-end RAG with all of that code base. Sometimes they give you AI, sometimes they don't give you AI. So you just have to, you can use, so one of the is like you can use the Google, but you cannot use the Gemini or any of those AI tools to generate the code. So you should be able to go to OpenAI or get code snippets from there, stitch it, build the application, the RAG application, at least. That's one of the use case I have seen. The other area of focus is basically how do you talk about use cases, what project that you have worked on, what is the problem statement, and how do you why did you use what you used. So, and again, there is no one standard or correct answer, right? You just have to defend or convince that what you have done, why you have done. So let's say I have used Crew AI. Why you used Crew AI? Why not other frameworks? So felt it is approved by our architects, enterprise architecture team, one of the frameworks, and we have the skill set. And then again, it is easy to use. End of the day, it's just a framework. The LLMs is the one that's doing the hard work, and it's compatible to use any of the LLMs that we want to use. And we used it with hosted open Azure OpenAI models that we have, right? So, and it is modular. We can define a separate agent and crews for each of the agents, and then you can run them in sequence, parallel as threads. So all of that. So we found that easier to work with. It's open source for any of the quick applications that we want to build. So that kind of the story is what you need to talk about. The third area of the focus on that again is, as I talked about, what is the accuracy or productivity improvement or accuracy or let's say scalability, robustness, and all of those things. Accuracy basically depends, right? So you can talk about the tools that you've created. Accuracy is if you're most of it is based on how good your prompts are, right? So how you want to do. Or if you want to take more of the control, you can put your hard logic in the Python functions and use that as tools. That's what we do for any parsing of the JSON. We don't just leave it to the model, because I have invoked in one of the agents, we have invoked an internal API and gives you a JSON response. So the target was to extract some of the information from that JSON and categorize into different categories using the keywords, and then count those. So I can pretty much give a prompt, hey, go through this JSON, and if you find words like this, you categorize into this and get the count, and all of that I can write. So we have done that. And then when we executed, it was like it took us about 2 minutes or something, more than minute and a half to process that. And then what we did was we removed that prompt. We said, hey, use this tool to get these counts. And then we built that tool in Python. So we didn't build, we asked the AI, hey, generate the code to parse this JSON based on this code. It gave, based on this keywords and count, it gave us the code, and we put it in the function and we gave it the tool. Now it ran in less than 10 seconds. So that's how you kind of build or convince what is best for you. Now, why it improved? Because in both the things, AI is doing it. Because whatever we did offline, asked it to generate the code and put it as the tool, is the static code. It just runs the Python code and gives you that parsing. But whereas if you give it as a prompt, what happens is every time you call that, it is actually generating the code again. The entire code, it has to understand the JSON every time, parse the JSON every time, generate the code for that JSON, execute that code, and then give you that response. So all of this is happening on every call, right? So that's where it's going to take time. Though it is easy to write as a prompt, but then that's where you're losing on the performance, basically. So those are the things that you need to take a judgment. Instead of doing it every time, what you do is you take offline, take the JSON structure, you ask the LLM, it generate a code to parse this JSON. You don't need to write everything yourself. So it gives you in a minute, take that code and put it as a tool, as a Python function, as a tool. Obviously you have to review and fix if there is anything. And then in the prompt, in the agent, you give that as a tool and then say, hey, use this tool to parse the JSON. That's it. So these are the things that you can talk about in the interviews to give the feeling that yes, you have actually worked on all of this. How do you get that? Is if you are actually doing work at your workplace, that's one thing. If you're not, then you have to build a lot of these use cases yourself, practice. And that's how you can get that confidence to talk about what projects you want to put in your resume and what you want to talk about the work that you're doing. Of course, I'll be sharing this kind of architecture and use cases with you next week as well.
Yeah, Arun, if there is a way, we can maintain some kind of a, Word document or an Excel spreadsheet, right? And I'm sure, there are like 12, 13 people here, right? Some of them would have gone through interview questions, right? So if there is a way we could just maintain it, I think that would be great.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me, I can just create one Google Doc and share with all of you. You guys can go in and add there. It's not just the document. I'm also saying that, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
put in your documents, put in your requirements, or put in your
Yeah, the use cases can
Use
be
cases.
different, like insurance can have something else and ERP can have some other use cases.
Yeah,
but
bring
the
any
generic,
of the requirement from your work. Just the requirement. I don't
yeah,
ask
the
you
generic
any
AI
any
related
architecture or
questions as
data
well.
or anything.
Yeah.
Just a use case, a requirement, and then see how you can build it as a POC here, collaborate, and then post, share with all the teams. So I have people from earlier projects also who wants to earlier batches also who want to collaborate. So I'll just create one common platform sharing, so everybody can contribute to that and learn and share together. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Arun.
Yeah, I'll also push some architecture. Again, don't share any confidential information or company information or any of the data from the company. Make it as generic as possible, or use your own words to just explain, put in the use cases. Interview questions are fine. Interview questions are open, like I talked about. So we can talk about that. Okay. See here, I have one of the interview questions. This is the actual interview question that was asked, like clinical documentation system. Design a system that helps doctors access query patient information during consultation. These are all the requirements. Okay. So this is for architect role, like how do you tuning an LLM? So what are the techniques, LoRa, CLoRa, PEFT, and all of that? And then see this one. This is mostly like, I think this is a Python based question answer that we have. So it's a different answers, but yeah, I will go through, and whatever I have, I will give you some of this questions like this. I think I have another one where they wanted us to build an application. So based on that, yeah, I will kind of share with you guys. Okay. All right. We are at time. Any other questions before we wrap up? You feeling good? Yes. Thumbs up if you can't talk.
Absolutely
good?
correct.
Yes.
Right. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Arun.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. All right, guys, take care. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you.